South Bend City Council meeting, November 14th, 2022.
It's a fun.
Very
I'll tell you
exciting.
after.
Kim and I was actually just talking
Call
about
the
that
meeting
today.
to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Do we have any items from the public tonight? Yes. Paul.
Yeah, I have two things. First of all, I couldn't find the Zoom link and the agenda on the city website. And I just looked a few minutes ago, so I found it on Facebook. But anyway, I came back about 2.5 weeks ago from vacation and went by the old Arnie's Arco, and I saw those derelict boats were finally gone after I don't know how many years. Anyway, apparently I had messaged Luke, and he said that we can thank Officer Fuller for his work on that subject. But anyway, it's good to finally have a success story on either derelict boats or buildings or whatever. That's it.
Thank you. Any other items from the public tonight? I don't see any. All right, so let's move on to item 4. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda, and the minutes from October 24th, 2022. So moved. Patricia moves. Do we have a second? Bunny seconds. All right, is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence?
So you see in the packet that we got our official incorporated into the Pacific Conservation District. You guys had voted on it over the summer. Then it had to go to their board and through everything. So officially now we are part of the Conservation District. So that's just, I wanted to include that in with your guys' stuff.
Cool. Okay. Item 6, ordinance number 1582, levying a tax on real and personal property in the city of South Bend. This is the final reading, and this is the one that happens every year, the 1%. So I would entertain a motion to approve. So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 7, ordinance number 1583, amending portions of South Bend Municipal Code 13.10, sewer storm water collection I&I. This is the final reading on this. So it was discussed before, so I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 8, ordinance number 1504, ordinance of the city of South Bend relating to compliance with the Public Records Act, specifically amending and replacing Public Record Act rules pursuant to chapter 2.50 of the South Bend Municipal Code. And this is the first reading. And so I would ask Lucas if you would give us a little synopsis of what this entails.
Yeah, so basically, we haven't had an update to this code since the incorporation of body cameras. And with our body cameras and the public records requests, there comes a lot of time in the redaction of those requests. For instance, it took me a couple hours to redact a 10-minute video. So having this code updated allows us to actually charge for the time spent fulfilling those requests. Per RCW, we're allowed to charge as long as the person doesn't have a nexus to the case. So like defense attorneys or prosecutors, or there's some other caveats in there that if you have a nexus to the case, you can't be charged for that record. But just anybody from the public who wants to put in a request for all of Lucas Stiegel's body cameras footage from 2021, yeah, that's not going to be easy for us to do. And at least this way, we'll be able to charge for the time spent fulfilling that request.
All right. So I would entertain a motion to move this to the second reading.
So moved.
Second. Is there any discussion from the council? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So item 9 is resolution 2022-08. Resolution of the City Council South Bend adopting the 2022 Pacific County Solid Waste and Moderate Risk Waste Management Plan. And this is a county plan that they had to update. And all 4 cities are a part of that plan and are required to pass it as well for it to be fully valid, I guess. So it is, what, 150 some pages long?
186.
186 pages long, okay.
Why is the attachment and not? in-
Yeah, that's why there was a link to it so that you could all look at it on the link. So I would entertain a motion to approve the waste management plan of the county.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
That was wrong.
And now, let's move on to item 10. We typically cancel the final council meeting of the year because it falls so close to Christmas every year. And so, I would entertain a motion to cancel the December 26th city council meeting.
Well, that would be a holiday anyway. Anytime the holiday's on a Sunday,
It would be
celebrated
a
on Monday.
holiday, so it would probably be, then it would have been the
Yeah.
following Wednesday, which
Yeah.
would have been the 28th, probably. Yes, you're correct. Yes. So anyway, we would like to cancel that.
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we will cancel that, unless the need arises to hold a special meeting or something, at which point we would let you know if that was the case, but for all intents and purposes, we will cancel that particular meeting. Okay, so we're gonna move on to department head reports, Chief Siegel.
Nothing.
Okay, and I have something from Supervisor Howe. He said, the city opened bids for the WashDOT Madison Street Safe Routes to School. And the bids came in significantly higher than the funding available by approximately $126,000. So Safe Routes to School has told us there is no additional state funding to cover this shortfall, and the city is unable to make up the difference. We've checked with some other potential funding sources with no success as of yet. We plan on doing some additional inquiries to other funding sources to see if we can get help in making up the difference. And we're talking, it's probably not gonna happen right away. Some of these funding sources that we're looking at maybe won't happen till spring. So it looks like this project is gonna be put on hold for a while. 126,000 is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And then Pacific County Department of Public Works is going to clean or muck out that creek coming into the Central Avenue Tunnel, starting at Morrison Road and ending at the impoundment area at the intake to the tunnel. They have to obtain permits, so it's likely going to take a couple of weeks to get that. And it will help out tremendously, and the city appreciates what the county is doing to help with flood control. And then finally, Marine Floats has just renewed permitting on the dock repairs and should be hearing something on a schedule within the week. So we don't have a schedule yet, but we're hoping to hear. So, and that's everything that Dennis had for us tonight.
So had that sedimented in quite a bit since, because it wasn't that long ago that they did that.
It's
project, was
been
it?
3 or 4
Yeah, it
years.
has.
3 or 4 years. I
Yeah,
think
and there's at
Richard.
least, Dennis was saying, a half a dozen beaver dams up there again.
it's-
Which when we get a ton of water, they come down and all go right in front of that,
Yeah.
that impoundment area, that grate,
Mhm.
gets clogged, and so they're having to go in and clean that out.
That must have been
And
4
it
years ago.
comes down when the water gets high. There's, so unless you go in and clean those out early, there's no way to do it ahead of the storm, because it's the
Yeah.
storm that brings them down.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But we're working on it. And I, well, this is Dennis's part. Well, we're talking about it anyway. Do you care if I do my little
No.
bit on this? I've been having some conversation with the county, because that is their area back there. And we're in preliminary discussion now to look for some kind of a grant, a planning grant, to see what, if anything, can be done, constructed to help us with the issues back there. It would have to be like a Y-shaped thing, and I'm not an engineer, but I'm thinking like some kind of a Y-shaped thing that would incorporate that area that floods back there and then come down central.
Yeah.
And there are barriers. Craig Spreaderman has some ideas on this too. There are barriers, and I've looked some up online that cities use that are temporary, can be put up and taken down, that we could make Central Avenue a channel to the river. But we need a planning grant to see what is feasible, doable, what it would cost, because while that would work for Central, that's not gonna work for the Y, that goes back there, to go around that whole area, especially the trailer court area. So, I'm hoping we can find some kind of a grant to get a feasibility study done
That would
as
be
far as
fantastic.
what can be done back there, because it's gonna happen over and over and over again. So
It's gonna
anyway,
be
that's,
interesting to see though what you come up with when you have that problem. I don't know how it's gonna be fixable when you get the high tides. There's nowhere for the water to go.
yeah,
And I understand, when they talk about centrally funneling the water somewhere, I mean, there's
Yeah.
been a lot of discussion on that, but when there's nowhere for the water to go, I just don't know how it's
Well-
gonna be fixed.
if you could picture, if you will, 3-4 foot high barrier along either side of Central that runs right across 101 and into the river.
Like those,
At that point, it's got somewhere to go because it's above the arch.
is that like those concrete Lego things?
There's some like that, and then there's some that inflate with the water, although I don't know that they get high enough. But there's several different types out there. They use them, New York has used some, and I believe some cities in Florida have used some.
They got
I think
portable
New
ones, 'cause
Orleans is doing some
Yeah.
things with
Yeah.
those.
I bought a bunch of them for the
So-
school and we used them around the gym.
Yeah.
Check with Amsterdam.
So-
they should know.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we just need someone that is an engineer and knows their stuff to tell us what we can and can't do, what it would or would not
Interesting to see.
cost. And then start looking for grant funding. But one of the things, and I'm just talking, okay, none of this is cast in stone yet.
Right.
But one of the things that will help us is it will be multi-jurisdictional. We'll have the county and the city. So we're more than one jurisdiction, which opens up some pools of federal grant monies
Right.
that we can't get as a city on our own.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But because it's county and city, we might qualify for some of those things.
My
But we
grand-
first have to be basically shovel ready and know what it's gonna cost, what kind of a plan we're gonna go with. And that all takes planning money.
Yeah, my grandson's a civil engineer. Too bad he lives in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of some of the discussions that I've been having with the county just in the last few weeks here. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. Clerk Treasurer Sullivan.
I was just going to say, we had about 311 kids for downtown trick or treating this year that came by City Hall, so,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
Good amount.
yeah, it was a good turnout. So
Yeah.
that's all I was going to.
And it was fun.
It was
The
fun.
kids just had a ball. It was a little chilly, but it
Luckily, there
wasn't
was a break
raining.
in the rain.
It was a good day.
Everybody, yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
yeah.
So. I don't have anything to report other than what I've already talked about. So, I would ask if there were any public comments regarding the current agenda items. Yes, Craig Spriderman.
Just since you mentioned it, if anybody would like to look it up, Watergate was not inflatable, but it's a plastic product that's transportable, easily resettable. They make them up to, I believe, 36 inches. So figure whatever your water capacity for a 3-foot wide river down Central would be to funnel that much water. I've been putting off, I hate putting words in a row. I have all of the PDFs with their pricing and information. I will get that to you by your next meeting to look at, but Water-Gate is the website if you want to look at it, or the product rather. The question I had about today's thing was just a reality check. Didn't the council approve funding for regarding the ordinance on public comment. Wasn't there an automated redaction system that the city bought?
It was available, but it's not for the video at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's talking about, Next Request.
So, yeah, so Next Request, which is our public disclosure, website, you can upload and redact through there. This is the actual through Axon, the video footage of the body cameras that has to be redacted before you upload it into Next Request. That's a separate system through the police department and has to be redacted through Axon.
Because they
and,
track all the changes.
Yeah, evidence.com, right? It's their system. So
Do you happen to know, does the county have that system in place for them?
the county, I don't believe so. They
Right.
don't have body worn cameras, so.
Okay. All right.
Just Raymond and South Bend have that, both have Next Request and then Axon body cameras, so. But
Okay.
for regular reports and stuff, yes, Next Request you can upload and redact from there.
Okay, that's what I was recalling. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so let's move on to council comments. Counselor Williams,
Nothing for me.
Counselor Davis. Nothing. Counselor Corcoran.
Well, the concrete pad for the new home for the old fire truck was poured today. So that's one more step closer. So next will be the fencing and then the roof. So, cool, moving right along.
Counselor Menlo
Nothing.
and Counselor Kuiken.
No.
Okay, I did have one more item that I had forgotten to mention. I didn't have it written down. I had a citizen approach me, that had been in a fender bender out here, some kind of an accident. I don't know how big, but just wanted to come in and let me know how much he appreciated our officers. 3 out of our 4 officers were on the scene and helped him, and how much he appreciated and how nice they were. So I just wanted to publicly recognize our officers for being nice to someone in distress. And they really appreciated it. So, all right, do we have any future agenda topics? All right, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone, for coming.